afternoon, Spark Festival. You've just entered into the session of how AI and chat is changing the future of social media marketing. And I'm Aoife O'Connell. Before we continue on, I'd just like to pay our respects enabled through technology and an acknowledgement of country to the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet here, and pay our respects to our elders past and present. I'm coming live from the Eora Nation, New South Wales and Sydney. And again, my name is Aoife O'Connell and I'm the industry expert in AI and chatbot marketing. What we are going to run through today is some chatbot drivers, the evolution of the bot, customer demand. Not all chatbots are equal, and that's incredibly important. And I want to applaud you actually for being on this session, because it's an incredibly new space. Probably 3-4 years, 2016, this ecosystem really bolted out of the gate. So we're still getting our head around it. We're still trying to put use cases and trying to find the added value of it. So I do applaud you for doing here. So we are going to focus traditionally on the ecosystem that is most open to us than many is Facebook Messenger, some chatbot examples, solutions, and defining the business case. Now, I might just pop back and give you some context to who I am. Again, I have been in digital for about 15 years, and I went into chat marketing 4 years ago. I've been specialist in social media marketing for large corporate brands in New South Wales, and I went out and formed Yarnley 2.5 years ago, and that was where the journey has brought me on this whole world that has introduced me into what it means to be a chat marketer and how can big brands and individuals and small to medium business leverage this ecosystem. Now, just to the far right, there is a scan for slides. So if you want to pop up your mobile, you can certainly go into Yarnley's chatbot and you can get the slides immediately or thereafter the presentation. And please feel free to reach out. We do only have 17 minutes, so it's going to be a very rapid fire. Woo, lost a slide. Rapid fire round. So definitely jump onto Q&A and ask me lots of questions. So again, pushing forward, what are the drivers to deploying chatbots? So sales and marketing, customer service, the big one, partner programs so you can utilize that data, employee assistance, and customer insight. So there's multiple drivers that you can establish a chatbot. It just depends on what your end goal and that business result is. Predominantly, we've been working with a lot of marketing teams to be able to help support them incubate pilot programs in the activity that they're already doing in social media and social, Facebook advertising, from a driver, from a paid advertising campaign into Facebook Messenger, and then nurturing that lead into that ecosystem. So that's where we're going to focus on specifically today, but we're also going to go into the reason behind it, which is the most important thing. And marketers on this particular live stream should get behind and should be educating themselves on now. The evolution of the bot. There's a misconception. A lot of people feel that they're spam bots, or alternatively they're useless. They've had experience through large telcos. But predominantly, it's because of the education behind the deployment that we haven't naturally been able to do this. So I think coming back a little bit, 2016, the chat ecosystem really bolted out of the gates with the ability of Facebook Messenger. And I'll jump into it in a moment with the third-party tools like ManyChat, ChatFuel, Mobile Monkey to help marketers like myself and enable small business teams, small, medium business teams deploy bots specifically. Now, I won't read slides. I'm more so just going to talk you through the kind of evolution, but specifically to pay attention on this particular slide is the difference between that natural language processing versus automation. And kind of coming back to the ecosystem of Facebook Messenger, we're all used to that kind of delayed response. You know, you may want to contact a business and you'll see opening times. You'll certainly just get like maybe a small little automation to give you a prompt, and then maybe a human will come into it. This is the start of this ecosystem. So what we do at Yarnley and what chat marketers do is actually engage with third-party tools to deploy, taking that user from once they start a conversation with you and bringing them through a whole entire funnel. So the difference of automation is predominantly the difference in scale of your project. So, you know, automation can be deployed with natural language processing when we're evolving into Google, or Janice.ai is another particular one that we plug into their database. So that kind of fluid experience from customer to brand can have it a lot more what would I say? I guess more natural in a sense, not be specifically a chatbot. But the automation is incredibly important when we start dipping our toes into this particular environment. So why are we doing it? We're doing it because when they want it, how they want it, where they want it. You know, the dog barks, the baby cries, you know, the door knocks, and you want to have customer service from a particular brand. Alternatively, you're purchasing something. And if you are querying something like sales, or particularly in that particular buying moment, you want to have messaging that can be there where you are when they need it. And the advantage of having chat marketing capability is that we can meet people and consumers and the demand gen, right? When they want it, where they want it, when at 2 in the morning, for instance. So that is the most important thing for brands to consider chat marketing and the ecosystem that is going to start evolving very much so. And the reason why it's evolving is because these are, you know, high level stats of how that's happening. 40% of humans are engaging with bots on a daily basis because we're reducing that front line. We're removing that, you know, unimaginative talk, you know, from creating customer experience that are meaningful. So if someone just wants a general FAQ and they go into a customer service agent, they're going to get handed off when it's meaningful to the user. They've already gone through the lead qualifying questions. They've already either found the answer and jumped off, or alternatively it's getting passed on to a human when needs it. And it's more meaningful, and we can capture that information on the back end. We can actually enable that data to can help support marketing or service or operational, or alternatively even product development. So that's the most important thing from customer behavior in this particular field. Now, the reason and the most important thing probably today that I'm going to show you is this very messy slides, but innovation is messy, and that's predominantly the reason why we're in it, to try and explore what is actually effectively moving this marketplace. And it's the empowerment from customers that have mobile devices in their hands. You know, they want to talk to you. They want to be there in a brand, or alternatively purchase from a brand, or alternatively give feedback in a brand in the device on the platform they choose to. Now, the ecosystem, why it's so important to business and brands and where we're going, is because of this big players, right? It's the Zuckerberg ecosystem, and Facebook interoperability is huge. And what this means is that they are combining Instagram Direct, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp. So that's, you know, multiple billion users, which I just have here on the left-hand side of those actually icons, that you can see that you can actually, you know, have conversations where they're sitting. And today, which is very appropriate for Spark Festival, is that Instagram has just opened up their API. We have been waiting for this for maybe near on 3 years to be able to help support brands, businesses, and customers in these platforms. So they've just released beta about 3 hours ago. So you're going to be seeing a lot more experiences in Instagram, and now inevitably nurturing that customer behavior. It's also going to today, probably in the next month, going to change your whole media spend funnel, for instance, because instead of jumping off to a URL into your website, you're going to be actually using Instagram Direct to direct your customer and direct that lead into that environment so that they stay on the platform, and that's, you know, what they want. Now, the point of difference that is incredibly important in this particular, I suppose, digital disruption, right? We're fast forward probably 3 years in 2 months during COVID and the evolution of this. And the one thing to kind of consider is that when people think of chatbots and they're looking at virtual agents, it's not necessarily on the asset or the website that people go to. That's what's considered a virtual agent. It's more so a chatbot ecosystem can go into live chat on your own asset, but it alternatively can go into exactly the same platforms like above, WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram Direct. But why is that important? Again, coming back to mobile. So Rich Communication System is essentially an initiative through multiple telcos across the world that they are going to enrich SMS 2.0. SMS is getting a makeover. They're going to have digital experience with, or I suppose dynamic experiences that you can have content come up and flash up and essentially contact a business through SMS in your phone. And rich communication systems is basically happening now. They're creating this. It's the evolution of basically 5G that's coming on board, and again, empowering the mobiles that people have in their phone. So that's the importance of chat marketing. It's not a taboo with chatbots, or it's kind of even a niche kind of thing, or should we get it, or should we just do an R&D? This is specifically consumer behavior and where they're going and how we're going to communicate, into the future. It's kind of going to go from away from websites, and we're going to connect with people in chat marketing and social media marketing specifically. And of course, coming back to the man that it is, especially for social media marketing managers and people that are paying, a lot of money in that landscape to attract, retain brand awareness in social media, is that the future is private. They're pivoting away from this open newsfeed engagement style community for multiple different reasons that it would probably take me the 4 hours to go through this presentation to go through. But for the obvious ones is that they can protect that conversation. They can enable that brand to have that one-to-one personalized conversation at scale. But it also the tools that are available to us can actually have the information, the data on the consumer. And again, when they engage with us, again, it's that omnipresent approach. We know who they are. We know what they like. They have engaged with us in a specific, service-led based question, potentially, or alternatively a purchase buy. We know who they are and what they're doing. So that's incredibly important. And again, this is kind of run through why are we doing it and why are we going to kind of move into the Facebook ecosystem of chatbot marketing. Essentially, the reason why it's important now is because, well, up until 3 hours ago, it was the only one available to us to play in with the breadth of audience that existed. So, the billions of people that interact with it, certainly in the last 2 to 3 months, chat apps have basically surpassed social media networking apps. So the audience is there, and where people are, brands go. Where messages go, we want to communicate where they are. So that's the important thing about it. But it's an omni-channel approach. We don't disregard email. We certainly just incorporate it into it. And we can have that omnipresent approach within automation, from email triggers to bot triggers to SMS triggers, all in the same ecosystem. And that's coming back to the tools that are available to us. So, they're outperforming the open rates that we're expected to get. And what we have run with our clients is that we're going in again to chat apps that there is less noise. So coming back to that, we need to have purposeful messages. We need to have authentic relationships to engage with users in these channels. It's kind of gone with the days of spray and pray, which was probably in the early 2016s when this chat capability came off. That, there was cowboy marketers out there that wanted to avail of this particular ecosystem, but we're gone with that. And I think strategy, and certainly with Facebook policies adhering to that, and the protection of their customer data and protection of the customers that are on these channels are very, very important to how you run marketing in this world. So when you do it right, and when you can have authentic messaging to the users on these channels, you can speak directly to them without the noise. And that's probably the most powerful thing about it, because you have to go back to purpose and vision and alignment and customer, customer focus of what they're wanting at that moment in time, and it allows the user to change. So again, coming back to Facebook Messenger, why are we here? And probably the first column, as you see, is there's a couple of notes saying what you can do currently, and people have experience with just opening hours. But where we're introducing the third-party platforms, where we're a partner, an agency partner with, is ManyChat. So ManyChat enables us to help support a user coming into Facebook Messenger and bring them into Facebook Messenger ecosystem and have a funnel. I've literally put a little tiny screen grab of the type of conversation that happens in that, very similar back to the last slide of, what it's like from email versus chat. It's quite similar, but again, the triggers are very specific. So that's where it's coming out, the digital evolution of this, the personalization and the custom offers that we can do one-to-one rather than one-to-many. And that's the difference that no marketer has been able to do. Certainly over in the last 3 years, this has really evolved. So that's the most exciting thing about this space. So some examples is our partners with New South Wales Art Gallery. We did a beautiful meditation app with Why Within, and Mums & Co, our community of fabulous women in business that are trying to, you know, develop their businesses and gain support and peership along the way. So with COVID, there's a couple well, with COVID, we deployed that, and it was a phenomenal campaign to help support women, again, giving the information when they need it, where they are in the moment at 2 a.m. in the morning. So a couple of QR codes if you do want to have a scan and go in and have a little look. And again, coming into the kind of evolution of just chat marketing apps is what's that next stage. So coming back to the mobile and how we're facilitating, it is Apple Wallet. So building bots in Facebook Messenger or now potentially Instagram Direct and WhatsApp, you can then allow the user to download a mobile wallet card to their phone. So you're actually coming into the marketplace of, you know, mobile wallet in that communication section. So triggering bots into, you know, very similar to a bank card or gym card that a lot of people are familiar with. You could have a loyalty card for your brand. So that's kind of like that next stage. And Facebook Messenger apps that you can get entry points into is, I was just checking questions, is send message through your Facebook page or your ad that you're running or keyword triggers that you can actually trigger and move into this space. And the solution, why you need it. Look, it kind of goes without saying, it's the kind of next stage of where we're moving into marketing, where we're moving into communication, and where this ecosystem is taking us to be able to communicate in meaningful experiences. It's a very new space. The technology is, as I said previously, bolted out of the gates to help support marketers like myself and brands and small to medium business to help support businesses one-on-one. And I think through the last number of months, what has really helped and supported us is QR codes. So to be able to scan, even at the start of this presentation, to go in and get offline activity online and vice versa. So you're actually kind of creating that ecosystem of like-minded experiences and that omni-channel approach. So moving forward, if you are considering moving into the space, communication obviously is the main one because it's chat apps, reduce costs, so that frontline loyalty customer experiences, and you know there's obviously growth and increased costs that you can monetize, and certainly monetize the current activity that you're already playing and spending on Facebook Messenger and the Facebook ecosystem, and keeping them on the platform that, you know, the powers that may be want you to do so. And that is me. So I'm going to hold 2 minutes for questions. Again, this is the QR code that you can just pop up and you can get directly into Yarn Lee's chatbot, and you can download the slides from today. But also you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and our website. So please, you know, the job that I am in is we love to chat, but we love to make connections more importantly. And even though we're digitally far, we can be certainly close together. So definitely reach out if there is. So I'm going to throw over to the last minute to see if there's any questions to the audience. Glad to hear a futurist, Sarah. Yeah, I don't think there is. None coming in yet. It's a big conversation. It's certainly an evolving one, and it's a certainly exciting space to be in. So I would highly recommend anyone that is playing in certainly large spend, media spend, and wants to evolve that strategy, but also wanting to be able to help support their customers further. And you can do that. You can meet them where they are in the apps that they're having. So it's incredibly important. There's a question. Patty, great insights. Yeah, it's super fast. 15 minutes is definitely not enough. And I think the most important thing to just call out is that broader strategy when people are talking about bots, and what that means is going to be that RCS strategy. It's going to be the evolution of the telcos coming up and the dynamic SMS that's going to come through. It's not just coming back to Facebook Messenger. It's not coming back to social media or Instagram. So I think that's incredibly important when we're looking at this space. We're not predominantly looking at that one-to-many any longer in marketing. We're looking at that one-to-one personalized in the place that they're playing, and mobile is the core of that. And then obviously the apps that they're spending on. So that's what I would certainly recommend looking into further, and just to take into the consideration. Sales from chatbots, what's the typical conversion? Look, it really depends on what you're trying to sell, how you're trying to sell it, and what messages you're going to put in market. So, but triple open rates and then click-through conversions, we're looking at 80%. And then we're looking at, conversion rate if you're hitting the money in the marketing and the copy, and that obviously emotional-led experience, then you're going to get really high open rates. Great for webinars, great for that further assistance. I mean, even today, putting up a QR code and be able to get into my ecosystem, and then you can continue that conversation, retarget off that, and open it up to people that care. Concerned of 1 minute. So thank you for being here.